I would pick a song, I would go on Google, I would write letras followed by the name of the song. Hi everyone, welcome back to a new video. I recently got a comment saying make a video on the listening process. By that the person is trying to say tell me the ways by which I can improve my listening. And to be very honest, there are no rules to or there are no ways to improve your listening process, because like you cannot follow a pattern or a chart or a graph and by this your listening would be improved. There are different ways of improving your listening, but I will definitely talk about the ways of how I improve my listening in Spanish, and you can apply these rules or these techniques to any language that you want. So let's talk about it. So back in the day when I was learning Spanish, as you all know, I've talked about it a million times that I was a very big football fan, a very big Barcelona fan, and I started learning Spanish because of football. So when I started learning Spanish, the first thing that I did was go on youtube.com and search on the search bar saying entrevista followed by the name of the player, which means interview of by the name of player. I would write entrevista Xavi Hernandez, interview Xavi Hernandez, and I would watch the interview. I would just write entrevista Lionel Messi, interview Lionel Messi. So something that I was interested in would help me to improve my listening at the same time. I was enjoying the interviews for what they were, and at the same time I was improving my listening, trying to understand what the player is trying to say. So the first thing that I did to improve my listening was watch interviews in Spanish, and for you it can be any language. Just watch interviews, and you can watch interviews of anybody. You can watch interviews of doctors, of athletes, of movie directors, actors. You can choose any genre. It is on you, any field that you want. Just watch interviews. Now the second thing that I did was I started listening to music in Spanish. As you all know, Spanish music is very popular. There are so many artists, Latin artists that are popular all over the world, like J Balvin, like Shakira, like Maluma, Bad Bunny. All these artists are very popular across the globe. So it was very easy to find Spanish music, and my way or my technique was I would pick a song, I would go on Google, I would write letras followed by the name of the song, which means lyrics of that song. I would put on my headset or put on my earphones. I would read the lyrics while I was listening to the music. So I knew, okay, the artist is saying this right now, and the words which I did not understand, I would stop the music and I would search the meaning for it. So I was doing two things at the same time. I was learning new vocabulary, I was learning new words, and at the same time I was improving my listening. Why? Because the Spanish that I was learning was majority from Spain, and the music that I was listening to was from Latin America. So I was also learning a lot of words from South America, majorly from Colombia and from Puerto Rico, and even the way they sing is in a very Latin way. So two things were happening. I was learning a lot of vocabulary from Latin America, and at the same time I was improving my listening when it comes to the Spanish from Latin America. And you can do it for any language that you want. Just start listening to music in that language. The third thing that I did was I started finding native people in India, in Delhi, and I started talking to them to anything. For instance, I was studying Spanish at Cervantes. My teachers were obviously native from Spain and from Colombia, so I would just talk to them, ask where they were from in Spain. I would ask about their pueblo. Pueblo is the town or the village that they come from. In general, I would just have a conversation. So you can also do that if you're learning French, German, Italian, whatever. Just find a native and start talking to them. And I know not everybody is going to these institutes where you would find native people. So the other thing that I did, and you can also do, is find those Facebook groups, or maybe you can go on Clubhouse or any other application like italki. Find those language exchange buddies and start talking to them. They are the best people if you want to improve your listening, because by default you will start picking up their words, their accent, and by default you will understand how a native speaks, or how somebody from that country or somebody who speaks that language would speak. So best thing, best outcome, you can improve your speaking and listening at the same time. So find a language buddy or somebody who speaks that language as a native. Best way, I did it at Instituto Cervantes. My teacher was from Barcelona, from Catalonia in Spain. Very easy for me to talk to him, and I improved. I learned the native accent, like I could memorize. It was there in my head. Okay, a native would speak like this. So it really helped me in my speaking as well. So you can also do it. These were the 3 ways by which I improve my listening. Now let's talk about my opinion. What do I feel? How you can improve? I've told you the tips or the ways you can improve. Now what do I feel? Like there is no other way to improve your listening. You can only improve your listening by listening to people, by listening to music, or watching videos or movies or short documentaries in that language. There is no other way. So my advice would be, if you want to improve it, start finding people, start listening to content, start speaking is also a great way, because if you will speak to somebody in that language, by default the other person would listen to you and would ask you another question, and you will have a proper conversation. So that is the best way, and there is no other way to improve your listening. One thing that I want to add here is that Spanish is spoken in over 20 countries. So if you are accustomed to listening to Spanish from Spain, you should also start listening to people or listening to music from South America, from Colombia, from Argentina, from Puerto Rico, and from other countries, because every country has its own accent, the way they speak, the words that they use. It is very normal for somebody who's learning Spanish at an institute, who's used to listening to Spanish from Spain, would find it hard to understand Spanish from Latin America. It is not impossible, but it is hard to understand the accent from South America. I'm pretty sure it's the case for French as well, the French that they speak in France versus the French they speak in Belgium or Switzerland or in Canada, and for German as well, the German in Austria, the German in Germany, and the German in what's the other country, in Switzerland. Yes, in Switzerland. So every country would have its own accent. So if you want to improve a specific accent, start listening to interviews, or start talking to people from that country. These were the 3 ways by which I improve my listening in Spanish. You can also use the same techniques, or if you have any other way of improving your listening aspect of the language, please let me know in the comments, and also keep commenting so that I can know what videos can I make in the future. Thank you guys for the constant support. Like the video and also subscribe to the channel. Till the next one. Adios. So guys, if you're enjoying the videos, please consider